Hello, this is Cowboy Chris Anderson. I'm the main protagonist in Saints Row the Third you see playing right now on the PC version, with all the downloadable content and things like that. Today I'm going to show you, Philippe Lewin's cloning lab. I know another way we can get there. Through this building right here I called my warehouse. I recently bought this building, and we're going to use it to teleport anywhere we want to go. Yes, I've made a teleporting sort of time machine, or dimensionator as I like to call it. So let's go on a journey and talk about why Oleg became the way he is now. Let's see here. Where am I going? Let's go this way. Okay, now, I put a keypad on the door, so... Stupid.
I'll be all right for a time.
And here we are. We have teleported to Loren's building cloning lab. I got some cold in my throat. This is the very same building you come to, as the protagonist of the Third Street Saints, as well as with Shandy and I believe Pierce. Now, Oleg, as we explore this place, the game doesn't really shine a backstory on where he came from, but I've got some pretty good theories. I think the Syndicate, the Morning Stars, took Oleg from his hometown because you know he has a bit of an accent. It's really, he has an accent. And what they did is they brought him here to Steelport, I don't know how long ago, and they sort of altered his DNA to make him into a brute. He probably arrived in that crate that's open. Interesting. So this is my theory. He was a normal human being like, you or me. But then they brought him here to Steelport, altered his DNA, and turned him into a brute. A perfect brute. And then they decided to clone from him. And that's why we're here in, the cloning lab that used to belong to, Philippe Lewin. Before I dropped that metal ball thing on him, killing him, crushing him. These guys are sick. They're really sick. So that's my theory. I think he was just a normal human being like you and me before they altered his DNA, making him forget everything that has to do with his past. So, when you were doing this mission with, the protagonists of the Third Street Saints, me and Shandy and Pierce, and Shandy asked him what was he doing before they captured him, and he said, it's better for our friendship that I never elaborate. Just know that an enemy of your enemy is your friend. As long as you oppose the Syndicate, you have nothing to fear from me. You see, he doesn't know. They scrambled his memory when they, altered his DNA and made him into a brute and cloned him. He even said, before we freed him from the machine or contraption they had him hooked up to, was that the clones, they have his bronze but not his brain, so they're not as smart as him. But, they don't care, so they kept cloning him. This is what these tubes are for. They look like, they look like to me, when spring comes around and, the butterflies come out. Well, actually, they were worms first. But they get into a cocoon. It looks like these look like cocoons before they transferred into, butterflies. Yeah, they look like cocoons to me. But the Syndicate, the Morning Stars, they're sick. So once they successfully cloned from Oleg after they altered his DNA, scrambling his memory about his past, they passed on the DNA to the rest of the Syndicate, which are the Luchadors, which are their muscle, and the Deckers, which are their techno goths or whatever you want to call them. So yeah, they use these cocoon type machines to, clone Oleg after they altered his DNA. These guys are sick. I mean, as I'm walking around this area, I never thought that these guys would do something like this. They're just as bad as an evil dictator trying to get more power, trying to be more powerful than what they are now. It doesn't make any sense to me for someone so pure evil. You can even see some of the clones in their pods there. They're still cloning him even after we rescued Oleg. These guys are downright sick. I keep telling you this. They want more power and they'll do anything to get it. It sickens me to look at this. You can see right in this pod. That is a clone of Oleg. They may not be smart, but at least they got the bronze. I'm not going to answer that phone. It's just a survival activity. That was just a survival activity clone. I mean, survival activity phone call. But this is wrong. Cloning someone against their will is just... it's wrong. The Syndicate are sick. And they're wrong for it. It's just... as I'm running around this area, it does not make any sense to me. I used a mod that I installed in Saints Row the 3rd to teleport here. I mean, you can come here during a mission, but... yeah, as you see, we freed him from this contraption here. And he was butt naked too. I mean, they just don't care. Well, we won't be able to get to his offices. Or maybe we can, but let's just walk around the cloning lab and just look at all the clones they managed to clone from Oleg after altering his DNA from what he used to be to becoming a brute. It's just... why? That's what I want to know. I mean, I've got a lot of unanswered questions for, well, Philippe Lewin, but I crushed him with an ornament he had hanging in the tower there, so he's dead. I doubt any of the Morning Stars have any answers for this, but I bet every single Morning Star, or Luchador member, or Killbane himself, or, well, the Deckers with, what's that kid's name? I forgot. I have to think of it. He's a bit of a weakling, a bit of a nerd. He's from London, I think. I'm not sure. He has an accent in London. What's his name? Jeez, I have to think of his name right quick. It'll come up in my head, but other than that, the Syndicate, the Morning Stars, Philippe Lewin, they're sick. And I'm glad we're working on taking these guys apart. It doesn't make any sense to me how they could just take a guy, you know, from his hometown when he was living a good life, alter his DNA, turn him into a brute, and just decided to clone from him for the rest of the Syndicate. It just doesn't make any sense to me. Oh yeah, the kid's name for the Deckers, leader of the Deckers, is Matt Miller. I told you I'd come up with that name. But yeah, this doesn't make any sense to me. That's my theory. How Oleg is the way he is now. I'm pretty sure he was just like you and us, you and me, just a normal human being, and then the Syndicate, the Morning Stars, got their hands on him. They just trapped him in this crate right here, and then they brought him here to Steelport, brought him to this cloning lab, altered his DNA, making him forget everything about his past, and cloned from him. That's my theory. Well, thank you for watching. Hope you enjoyed this show.